Niami perna menyeya. Mi de radiasio atia donko tamin paswa. Oh say niami perna menyeya. Mi de radiasio oborobo kumi benwa. Oh say niami perna menyeya. Atia donko na menyeya. Oborobo na menyeya. Mutiasa baby kan wa samano. Atia donko na menyeya. Oborobo na menyeya. Oh, yani yobo, madi matia, munyami. Atia no bimpeno, oya ke no bipe. Oh, bipatia donku, bipo borobo. Abia meni na him, wafa be free anenju. Unya sikadi bi, emretwa juweni.
Before the survey started, 2 planning tools were created. Now, the problem in Saboba is there are about 260 villages scattered throughout the district. Now, every year, the government has to decide which communities are going to be able to get projects and which ones will have to wait. However, there's no real formal process for how that decision is made. So, it means that projects that go out to the different villages can be subject to, for example, corruption, where maybe a politician will want to swing the school or the borehole to some communities that voted for them. Now, most of the time, people are making those decisions in the best interest of the district. So they're genuinely trying to give it to the communities that need it the most. However, it's pretty difficult for any one person, I'd say impossible, to know all the situations across the district. So what's happening in all 260 communities. What happens then is that no matter what, this situation is going to be biased. Even if they're trying their hardest to give the project to the communities they know need it, they don't know all the communities, so in the end, those communities that are furthest away or most disconnected end up being left out of the decision-making process. The solution to this problem was to formalize the ranking process. That way it would only be based on evidence. So we had some meetings in the office where we developed these criteria, and then we went out to communities in the district and asked them what they thought we should use in terms of criteria to rank them. From there, we developed 2 tools, a borehole ranking tool and an education ranking tool, so that we could more transparently decide where schools and boreholes would be placed in the district. Once the tools were made, 2 things had to be done. We had to go out to every community in order to get the information to fill this ranking tool. That's all the criteria. And the second thing that needed to be done was we needed to educate the communities on what part they had to play in order to gain access to these services. The first step during training was to get a full list of all the communities in the district. Now, I can't stress the importance of this step because in the district assembly, we didn't even have a list of all the villages in the district. So imagine you were one of those communities that was far disconnected in the bush from the government. And in the government office, they didn't even have your village on, their database. That means that any projects that come out, you're not even considered for it. So what we needed to do was we needed to draw a full list if we were going to hit everybody, which would be able to serve as the backbone for future planning because we would be able to consider all of the people actually living in the district.
Working Feeling in a friend of Donana. Jamenoa. Hey, Yamasabi, a friend of Donana.
One thing we tried to do with the survey was to stay as flexible as possible. We always wanted to be open to new ideas or improving the survey in any way possible. So, after the first week, we noticed that the survey was pretty boring. I mean, it was boring for surveyors and it was boring for the communities. So we had to spice it up a little bit. So what we did was we included a ranking activity. This is where we picked the top 7 things the community usually said they needed. And then we showed them pictures of those 7 things.
Obaye kaman kanyoke no da fa so ko en sanja na mo mo bana mo na kan baba so okay.
During the ranking, the children wanted to take part in the ranking. Then the elders were driving them away. No, I told them no, they should allow them to come and take part in the ranking. And actually, that particular team, that particular committee, they were not ranking for education. But when these children took part in the ranking, they all ran for education. So you see how important it was.